Hello, Shalom, Shabbat. Welcome to this week's Torah portion. We'll be in Mishpatim, Judgments and Ordinances. It's the 18th Torah portion. We'll be reading Exodus 21 through Exodus 24:18. That'll be the Torah portion. From the half Torah portion, we'll be in 2 Kings 12:1 through 17. From the Apostles, New Testament, Mathew 17:22, chapter 17, verse 22 through 27. Mishpatim, Judgments and Ordinances. This is when, in the Exodus part, Moses goes up the mountain and he receives the commandments from the tablets from Yahweh. So let's get into that. We'll be in the scriptures, 2009 version. Exodus 21 on page 79. These are the right rulings which you are to set before them. When you buy a Hebrew servant, he serves 6 years, and in the 7th year he goes free for naught. If he comes in by himself, he goes out by himself. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, and she bore him sons or daughters, the wife and the children are her master's, and he goes out by himself. And if the servant truly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, let me not go out free, then his master shall bring him before Elohim, and shall bring him to the door, or to the doorstep, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And when a man sells his daughter to be a female servant, she does not go out as the male servants do. If she is displeasing in the eyes of her master, who has engaged her to himself, then he shall let her be ransomed. He shall have no authority to sell her to a foreigner people because of him deceiving her. And if he has engaged her to his son, he is to do to her as the right of the daughters. If he takes another wife, her food, her covering, and her marriage rights are not to be diminished. And if he does not do these three for her, then she shall go for naught without silver. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall certainly be put to death. But if he did not lie in wait, but Elohim delivered him into his hand, then I shall appoint for you a place where he is to flee. But when a man acts presumptuously against his neighbor to kill him by treachery, you are to take him even from my slaughter place to die. And he who strikes his father or his mother shall certainly be put to death. And he who kidnaps a man and sells him, or if he is found in his hand, shall certainly be put to death. And he who curses his father or his mother shall certainly be put to death. And when men strive together, and one strikes the other with a stone or with a fist, and he does not die but is confined to his bed, if he rises again and walks outside with his staff, then he who struck him shall be innocent. He only pays for lost time and sees to it that he is completely healed. And when a man strikes his male or female servant with a rod, so that he dies under his hand, he shall certainly be avenged. But if he remains alive a day or two, he is not avenged, for he is property. And when men strive, and they shall smite a pregnant woman, and her children come out, yet there is no injury, he shall certainly be punished according as the woman's husband lays upon him, and he shall give through the judges. But if there is injury, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, lash for lash. When a man strikes the eye of his male or female servant and destroys it, he is to let him go free for the sake of his eye. If he knocks out the tooth of his female or male servant, he is to let him go free for the sake of his tooth. And when an ox gores a man or a woman to death, then the ox shall certainly be stoned, and its flesh is not eaten, and the owner of the ox is innocent. However, if the ox was previously in the habit of goring, and its owner had been warned, and he has not kept it confined, so that it has killed a man or a woman, the ox is stoned, and the owner is also put to death. If a sin covering is laid upon him, then he shall give the ransom for his life, whatever it is laid on him, whether it has gored a son or gored a daughter. According to this right ruling, it is done to him. If the ox gores a male or female servant, he is to give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox is stoned. And when a man opens a pit, or if a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls in it, the owner of the pit is to repay, so he is to give silver to the owner, and the dead beast is his. And when the ox of a man smites the ox of his neighbor, and it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the silver from it, and also divide the dead ox. Or if it is known that the ox was previously in the habit of goring, and its owner has not kept it confined, he shall certainly repay ox for ox, while the dead beast is his. When a man steals an ox or a sheep, and shall slaughter it or sell it, repays the 5 cattle for an ox, and 4 sheep for sheep. If the thief is found breaking in, and he is struck so that he dies, there is no guilt for his bloodshed. If the sun has risen on him, there is guilt for his bloodshed. He shall certainly repay. If he has not the means, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the theft is indeed found alive in his hand, whether it is an ox or donkey or sheep, he repays double. When a man lets a field or vineyard be grazed bare, and lets loose his livestock, and it feeds in another man's field, he repays for the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. When fire breaks out and spreads to thorn bushes, so that the stacked grain or standing grain or the field is consumed, he who kindled the fire shall certainly repay. When a man gives silver or goods to his neighbor to guard, and it is stolen, when a man gives silver or goods to his neighbor to guard, and it is stolen out of the man's house, if the thief is found, he repays double. If the thief is not found, then the master of the house shall be brought before Elohim to see whether he has put his hand into his neighbor's goods. For every matter of transgression, for ox, for the donkey, for sheep, for garment, or for whatever is lost, which another claims to be his, let the master of them both come before Elohim, and whomever Elohim declares wrong repays double to his neighbor. When a man gives his neighbor a donkey, or an ox, or a sheep, or any beast to watch over, and it dies, or is injured, or is driven away while no one is looking, let an oath of Yahweh be between them both, that he has not put his hand into his neighbor's good, and the owner of it shall accept it, and does not repay. But if it is indeed stolen from him, he repays to its owner. If it is torn to pieces, let him bring it for evidence. He does not repay what was torn. When a man borrows from his neighbor, and is injured or dies while the owner of it is not present, he shall certainly repay. But if the owner was with it, he does not repay. If it was hired, he is entitled to hire. And when a man entices a maiden who is not engaged and lies with her, he shall certainly pay the bride price for her to be his wife. If her father absolutely refuses to give her to him, he repays according to the bride price of maidens. Do not allow a practicer of witchcraft to live. Anyone lying with a beast shall certainly be put to death. He who slaughters to an Elohim except to Yahweh only is put under the ban. Small Elohim, so other mighty ones. Do not tread down a sojourn stranger or oppress him, for you were sojourn strangers in the land of Mistpatim. Do not afflict any widows or fatherless children. If you do afflict them at all, if they cry out to me at all, I shall certainly hear their cry. And my wrath shall burn, and I shall kill you with the sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. If you do lend silver to any of my people, the poor among you, you are not to be like one that lends on interest to him. Do not lay interest on him. If you take your neighbor's garment as a pledge at all, you are to return it to him before the sun goes down. And for that is his only covering, it is his garment for his skin. What does he sleep with? What does he sleep in? And it shall be that when he cries out to me, I shall hear, for I show favor. Do not revile an Elohim, small Elohim, nor curse a ruler of your people. Do not delay giving your harvest and your vintage. Give me the firstborn of your sons. Likewise, you are to do with your oxen and with your sheep. It is to be with its mother 7 days. On the 8th day you give it to me. And you are set apart men to me. And you do not eat any meat which is torn to pieces in the field. You throw it to the dogs. Chapter 23. Do not bring a false report. Do not put your hand with the wrong to be a malice witness. Do not allow a crowd to do evil, nor bear witness in strife, so as to turn aside after many, to turn aside what is right. And do not favor a poor man in his strife. When you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall certainly return it to him. When you see the donkey of him who hates you lying under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving it to him. You shall certainly help him. Do not turn aside the right ruling of the poor in his strife. Keep yourself far from a false matter, and do not kill the innocent and the righteous. For I do not declare the wrong right, and do not take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the seeing one and twists the words of the righteous. And do not oppress a stranger, as you yourselves know the heart of a sojourner, because you were sojourners in the land of Mistpatim. And for 6 years you are to sow your land, and shall gather its increase. But the 7th year you are to let it rest, and shall leave it. And the poor of your people shall eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field eat. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive garden. 6 days you are to do your work, and on the 7th day you rest, in order that your ox and your donkey might rest, and the son of your female servant, and the sojourner be refreshed. And in all that I have said, to take heed, and make no mention of the name of the mighty ones. Let it not be heard from your mouth. 3 times a year you are to celebrate a festival to me. Guard the festival of Matzah. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, as I commanded you, at the time appointed in the new moon of Abib. For in it you came out of Mistpatim, and did not appear before me empty-handed, and do not appear before me empty-handed. And the festival of the harvest, the first fruits of your labors, which you have sown in the field, and the festival of the ingathering, at the outgoing of the year, when you are gathered in the fruit of your labors from the field. So, matzah, unleavened bread. The festival of harvest, that would be Shavuot, and then ingathering is your Sukkot, festival of booths. 3 times in a year all your males are to appear before the Master Yahweh. Do not slaughter the blood of my slaughtering with leavened bread, and the fat of my festival shall not remain until morning. Bring the first of the first fruits of your land into the house of Yahweh, your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. See, I am sending a messenger, capital M, before you to guard you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Be on guard before him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he is not going to pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. But if you diligently obey his voice, and shall do all that I speak, then I shall be the enemy of your enemies and a distresser to those who distress you. For my messenger shall go before you, and shall bring you in to the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and I shall cut them off. Do not bow down to their mighty ones, nor serve them, nor do according to their works, but without fail overthrow them, and without fail break down their pillars. And you shall serve Yahweh your Elohim, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I shall remove sickness from your midst. None shall miscarry or be barren in your land. I shall fill the number of your days. I shall send my fear before you and cause confusion among all the people to whom you come, and make all your enemies turn their backs to you. And I shall send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hittites, and Hittites before you. I shall not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become a waste, and the beasts of the field become too numerous for you. Little by little I shall drive them out before you, until I have increased you and inherit the land, and you inherit the land. And I shall set your border from the sea of reeds to the sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness to the river, for I shall give the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. Do not make a covenant with them, nor with their mighty ones. Let them not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me when you serve their mighty ones, when it comes to snare you. 24. And to Moshe he said, Come up to Yahweh, you and Aaron, Nabat and Abid, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And you shall bow yourselves from a distance. And Moshe shall draw near to Yahweh by himself, and let him not draw near, nor let the people go up with him. And Moshe came and related to people all the words of Yahweh, and all the right rulings, and all the people answered, and with one voice said, All the words which Yahweh has spoken, we shall do. And Moshe wrote down all the words of Yahweh, and rose up early in the morning, and built a slaughter place at the foot of the mountain, and 12 standing columns for the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, and they offered ascending offering and slaughter offerings of peace offerings to Yahweh of bulls. And Moshe took half the blood and put it in basins, and half the blood he sprinkled on the slaughter place. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. And they said, All that Yahweh has spoken we shall do and obey. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, See, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh has made you are concerning all these words. And Moshe went up, also Aaron, Nabal, Abir, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the Elohim of Israel, and under his feet was like paved work of sapphire stone, and like the heavens for brightness. Yet he did not stretch out his hand against the chiefs of the children of Israel. And they saw Elohim, and they ate and drank. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Come up to me on the mountain, and be there, while I give you tablets of stone, and the Torah, and the command which I have written, to teach them. And Moshe arose with his assistant Joshua. And Moshe went up to the mountain of Elohim. And he said to the elders, Wait here for us until we get back to you. And see, Aaron and Hur are with you. Whoever has matters, let him go to them. And Moshe went up into the mountain, and a cloud covered the mountain. And the esteem of Yahweh dwelt on Mount Zion. And the cloud covered it for 6 days. And the 7th day he called to Moshe out in the midst of the cloud. And the appearance of the esteem of Yahweh was like a consuming fire on the top of the mountain before the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moshe went into the midst of the children, and went into the mountain. And it came to be that Moshe was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. On to 2 Kings, chapter 12, on page 395. Yehosh began to reign in the 7th year of Yuha, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Shehab of Beersheba. And Joash did what was right in the eyes of Yahweh all the days in which Johanan the priest instructed him. However, the high places were not taken away. The people still slaughtered and burnt incense on the high places. And Joash said to the priests, all the silver of the set apart gifts that are brought into the house of Yahweh, the silver coming over each man's assessment silver, all the silver that a man possesses in his heart, to bring into the house of Yahweh. Let the priests take for themselves, each one from his friend, and let them strengthen the breaches of the house wherever there is a breach. And it came to be by the 23rd year of sovereign Joash that the priests had not strengthened the breaches of the house. And sovereign Joash called Jehonda the priest and the priests and said to them, why have you not strengthened the breaches in the house? And now do not take any more silver for your friends, but give it for the breaches for the house. And the priests agreed that they would neither receive any more silver from the people nor strengthen the breaches of the house. And Johanna the priest took a chest and bored a hole in its lid and set it beside the slaughter place on the right side as one comes to the house of Yahweh. And the priests who guarded the door put there all the silver that was brought into the house of Yahweh. And it came to be, whenever they saw that there was much silver in the chest, the sovereign scribe and the high priest came up and put it in bags and counted the silver that they found in the house of Yahweh. And he gave the silver weighed out into the hands of those who did not work, who had the oversight of the house of Yahweh. And they paid it out to the carpenters and the builders who worked on the house of Yahweh, to the stonemasons and the stonecutters, and for buying timber and hew stone to strengthen the house of the Yahweh, and for all that was paid out to strengthen the house, however there was not made for the house of Yahweh, basins of silver, snuffers, sprinkling bowls, trumpets, any objects of gold or silver or objects of silver from the silver that was brought into the house of Yahweh. For they gave that to the workmen, and they strengthened the house of Yahweh with it. And they did not reckon with the men into whose hand they gave the silver to be paid to workmen, for they acted trustworthy. The silver from the trespass offering and the silver from the sin offering was not brought into the house of Yahweh. It belonged to the priests. And Hazael, sovereign of Aram, went up and fought against Gath and captured it. And Hazael set his face to go up to Jerusalem. Ends the half Torah portion on to the New Testament, the Apostles. Matthew 17, verses 22 through 27. And while they were staying in Galilee, Yeshua said to them, the son of Adam is about to be delivered up into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and the third day he shall be raised up. And they were deeply grieved. And when they came into Capharnaum, those who received the double drachma came to Peter and said, does your teacher not pay the double drachma? And he said, yes. And when he came into the house of Yeshua, spoke to him first, saying, what do you think, Simon? From whom do the sovereigns of the earth take the toll or tax? From their own sons or from the strangers? And Simon Peter, then said to him, From the strangers. Yeshua said to him, Then the sons are exempt. But lest we cause them to stumble, go to the sea, cast in a hook, and take the fish that comes up first. But when you have opened its mouth, you shall find a stater. Take that and give it to them for me and you. Shalom. May you hope great Shabbat. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.